What's going on, everyone? I hope you've been well. Pretty exciting video here for you guys. I would consider this a sun run. I ran extremely well, and I made a few mistakes on certain spots, especially in the turn, where you guys will see. But overall, I did play solid, I would say, and made quite a bit of profit. Ran really well, so that made it easy. Appreciate you guys for watching. Also, we're getting pretty close to 1,000 subscribers here, so for anyone that's helped out with that, I really appreciate it. Thanks, and I hope you guys enjoy. I start my session off and I lose about 200 bucks in a bomb pot. I know you guys aren't big fans of watching the bomb pots, at least I've heard, so I try not to include them in the videos. Also, they're a bit annoying to edit, but that's where we're at right now. I have pocket kings though on the button, and I raise it up to $60 because there was a few limpers. At this point, I'm really wishing I topped off my chips, hoping to get some extra money in there, obviously, but with only 300 behind, if I do get 3-bet here, it's likely that I'm going to end up jamming, and sure enough, middle position does raise to 120. With the pocket kings here facing a 3-bet against a pretty tight player, I do still think I have him dominated, so I'm going to go ahead and jam for the remainder of my stack, which is about 240, and he snap calls, shows us the bad news. He has pocket aces. It's not looking like it's going to be a good night for me, considering I lost the bomb pot initially, and then I ran kings into aces shortly after that. We do decide to run it twice, and on the first board, 3 spades come out, and I almost make a flush. Unfortunately, I miss it on the turn and the river. He's already locked up half the pot. I'm just hoping we hit a king on the second board. But I don't have to hope for too long. When the king comes out on the flop, somehow by a miracle, we do end up chopping this pot, kings into aces. I got really lucky, and it kind of set the vibe for the rest of the session. Instead of going into this session down 500, I'm now only down 200 from that bomb pot, and I just immediately pick up ace-jack suited in the next hand in the cutoff. Middle position raises it to $15. I still have about 300 behind since we chopped that last pot. I'm still down from that bomb pot, and I decided not to top off, but I'm going to make this money back. I raise it to $45. There's a lot of action players at my table that I've previously played with, and as well as a few tight players that don't like to play much else but premiums, but I do kind of like that combination of players at a table. It's a little bit more fun. Middle position does put in the call, so we're going heads up to a flop, and it comes out 2-6 queen with a heart. Middle position has about 140 behind, and he checks it over to me. I'm going to make a standard c-bet here, considering we have a backdoor flush and we have an over. My goal here is to just take the pot down now, so I do fire off for $50, hoping that scares him off, and if not, we do have a few outs in the deck. He does put in the jam here very quickly for his remainder of about 145. I'm not convinced Queen X would make a play like this in this spot, so I go ahead and put in the call here for 145 with ace high. In my head, I'm just hoping some low cards get missed here, and sure enough, it does look that way. The king comes out on the turn, king of diamonds on the river. He shows the 5-7 of diamonds, which I think is a pretty big overplay in that spot. However, he did say he thought the 2 of hearts was the 2 of diamonds, and that would make a lot more sense with how we played it. We take down that medium-sized pot for what was probably a risky call, but overall worked out for us, and I'm happy with it. About 10 minutes goes by, and we're on the button with about 500 behind now, just where we started. Hijack raises to 25, and I look down at pocket nines. I made all that money back from the bomb pot I lost earlier, and I'm feeling pretty good here. I'm on the button with pocket nines. I 3-bet to $75. Hijack looks to be trying to make a play here. I feel like a 4-bet's coming my way, but ultimately it does look like he reaches for the calling chips, and we're going heads up to the flop with about 150 bucks in the middle. Lately, when I've been playing poker, I keep getting pocket pairs, and for some reason, a lot of them hit sets on the flop. Not that I'm complaining though, it definitely makes my life a lot easier when I hit a set on the flop. I just gotta decide how can I make the most money when that happens. Flop comes out queen 9-7 with 2 hearts. It's a relatively wet board, I think. There is a straight draws out there, a flush draw, and I'm not holding a heart, so I'm a bit nervous. I do feel like my hand does need some level of protection here, considering one more card can easily make a straight or a flush. So I want to apply some pressure here and charge those draws. I think close to a pot size bet is reasonable in this spot here. I've been trying to take my time a bit more when I'm making decisions in most situations, just so I'm consistent and also don't make as many mistakes. So it does take me a while here, but I do finally put in a bet for 125. He raised pre-flop and then he just called my 3-bet, so I'm not putting him on any crazy hand like ace-king or a high pocket pair. He does put in the call for 125, and the jack of clubs comes out on the turn. Definitely not the best card for us because the straight is looking a lot more possible, But when I'm thinking about the straight, I'm also thinking about what kind of combinations he'd have based off the pre-flop action and what happened on the flop for him to make a straight with this hand. Worst case scenario, I would think he has like king 10 suited, maybe king of diamonds, 10 of diamonds, which would be absolutely tragic because he does make the straight. But then again, I'm putting him on a very specific hand and I don't want to do that. Instead, I try to think of all the other things he could also have in this position with opening and then just flatting my 3-bet. He does check over to me. I do still think I have the best hand definitely in this point, and I don't want to lose value with my set, but it does look like I misplayed this turn a bit. At the time, I guess I didn't think that way and I was a bit scared, so I decided to check it back to him. This board is super wet, and I know I made a huge misplay on that turn by not betting for some value or even some protection really. 6 of clubs comes out on the river and he checks over. I still want to get some value out of this hand. Not exactly sure what I'm targeting. I guess at the moment I was thinking I could be targeting some hands like king, queen, maybe even ace, queen as played. I do think there is some value to be made, but also how much worse is really calling me in this spot considering the board is pretty wet for a straight. Then again, with my range and how I played it, he probably doesn't think I have a straight. A lot of stuff I'm trying to think through and figure out how to get better at, but ultimately I do decide to bet $100 here, targeting some weaker hands like ace queen or maybe even king queen. I gave him a really good price with $100 in the 4. I think top pair or even middle pair here will be likely to call with how I played this hand, considering I checked the turn. He does sigh a bit and decide to put in the call, which is great news for us because he shows over ace queen off for top pair. We take down a nice size pot with a set. However, we did lose a lot of value on the turn with checking. Learning from that hand definitely, and hope I don't make the same mistake later on. And not even 10 minutes goes by and we pick up another monster. Pocket aces in the hijack, have about 820 behind at this point. I'm definitely getting gifted pocket pairs almost every other hand it feels like, and we're getting into some serious profit on the session so far. I open a $20 here with my aces, hoping that someone raises after me, but fortunately cutoff just puts in the call. Big blind looks like he wants to make a raise, but ultimately decides to just call, and we are going 3 ways to a flop with about $60 in the middle, and I'm holding pocket aces. Obviously, heads up is a lot easier to navigate with aces. There's a higher chance that they can get cracked here with an additional player in the pot, but I also think there's another chance to make some extra money. The flop comes out king, jack, jack with 2 diamonds. Jack is reasonably in my opponent's ranges here. Big blind does make the check over to me, and I fire off for $50 to charge those flush draws and maybe even those king X hands. Cutoff did fold and big blind puts in the call, so we're heads up now headed to a turn with about $160 in the middle. I want to be a bit cautious here in case he has a jack and he's slow playing it, but then again I do think a jack would likely check raise that instead of just checking and calling because there was a flush draw out there and it was a relatively wet board. 7 of hearts comes out on the turn. He checks and I check again, which I do think is another mistake because there was 2 flush draws out there. 8 of clubs comes out on the river and he folds instantly. He was definitely on a flush draw. For some reason, I didn't bet the turn. I lost out on a lot of value there. We still take down a pretty medium-sized pot for about 90 bucks though. About 10 minutes goes by and we pick up ace 8 offsuit on the button with about $900 behind. Hijack raises to $30. I do want to expand my range a bit more recently and get some more practice in with some worse hands. I know it's probably not the most profitable decision, but I do decide to just call. Big blind also puts in the call. I think if I want to play this pot, I should have probably just raised it and polarized my 3-betting range a bit more. But ultimately, I put in that call and we're going 3 ways to a flop with ace 8 off. The flop comes out 5 ace king rainbow with about $90 in the middle. The big blind checks it over to the hijack, who also checks it over to me. And there could be a case made here to do a small bet, but I decided to play it a little bit sneaky and check back. I wasn't the pre-flop aggressor, and I'm expecting this board to get bet on a lot of the time by the hijack. Big blind does check to the hijack, and sure enough, the hijack does bet here for $40. The hijack has ace or king X in his range a lot of the time in this spot, considering how it was played pre-flop. However, I do think the check on the flop was a bit deceptive, so I'm not 100% sure. I do put in the call, and the big blind does as well, so we're now 3 players headed to a river. Pot's about $210 right now, so it's starting to grow quite fast. Ace of diamonds comes out on the river. So we make a boat here, which is, I think, a fairly well-hitted hand, how we played it. Big blind checks and the hijack bets out $110. I want to get as much value as I can in this position. I'm confident we have the best hand in this spot. We are only losing to really one combo I can think of, which would be ace king. And that's a very specific combination here, considering there's only one more ace in the deck, and he'd have to also be holding a king, which there's only two of. I think it's safe here to go for a raise and maybe value some weaker ace X or maybe even some king X. Big blind folds, and I essentially min-clicked it to the hijack with my raise. I think he's getting a very good price to call with ace X, but I think he's failing to see where I could have a bluff in this spot. So he puts in a lot of thought here and ultimately lays it down, and we take down a nice sized pot. He did say he had an ace, which was pretty crazy because I don't think I'm folding in that spot. An hour goes by, I take a little bit of a break and eat some food, but play a few hands here and there. It's my first double straddle of the night, and I pick up aces again, which is crazy. I'm in the middle position here with about 1200, and the pot is getting limped up quite fast. There's about 2 or 3 limpers at this point with this $10 straddle on. They obviously don't think I have aces with this. It would be pretty unlikely, especially when the big blind raises to $35. Not only does the big blind raise to $35, under the gun looks like he's trying to make a move here with a pretty strong hand. So he actually does raise to $100. Not sure if he's going for a squeeze here or if he has a very strong hand, but I'm not too worried considering I'm holding the aces. I don't want to jam it just yet because I definitely want some more action. I do want to raise and protect myself against some weaker hands though and isolate, so I do raise it up to 320, hoping that I get at least 1 or 2 callers here. Does fold quickly around, considering that most of these players were just limping in. I didn't expect them to call this kind of bet, but under the gun shoves quickly for about 500 effectively total, and I snap call and show him the bad news. He turns over queens, which is a ultimate cooler situation in his spot, considering we both were on the straddle. I was on the double straddle, and I just woke up with a monster, unfortunately. I tell him we can run it twice, and both boards come out very clean for me. I get lucky in this spot and take down a massive pot, which is pretty much gifted to me with the aces again. This time I got a little bit luckier because someone had something to pay me off with. At this point, this puts our profits at about $1,200 or $1,300, which is a massive comeback considering we punted $200 off the start of the session with that bomb pot. About 10 minutes goes by and we pick up another good hand, pocket nines in the hijack with about $1,800 behind. I raise up to $20. I can't believe how many pocket pairs I'm getting this session, and I also can't believe how many times I've misplayed the turns in certain spots, lost a lot of value, hoping to get better at that, but it's going to take some time. Button and big blind both put in the call here for my $20 open. Under the gun raises to $100. I'm not going anywhere with nines. I think there's a case to be made to raise, but I definitely don't want to open up action again and have him raise over the top or make me go in a position where I have to go all in with a big stack. So I call $100 knowing that I definitely don't want to call an all-in shove because his range is pretty capped. Cutoff and big blind both fold, which is perfect. That's definitely what I wanted to happen, and I kind of expected it considering they just called my raise. Flop comes out a very interesting one. It's a 7, 8, 10, all diamonds. We have the straight flush draw, we have the flush draw, we have the straight draw, and we also have a decent hand on this board with a pretty low pair, but I do think he has something like ace king, ace queen, something along those lines. When he checks over to me, I decide to get a bit aggressive here. I have an open-ended straight flush draw, and I definitely want to get paid if it comes. So I want to start pumping this pot and charging some draws. Maybe he has an ace of diamonds in his hand that wants to continue. Maybe we're against ace king, and he wants to continue because he thinks I don't have anything here. And we have a decent pair, so I bet $120. Might have been a bit too much, though. He does fold. I think I could have played it a bit slower, considering we did have a pair and also a very good draw. But we take down a decent sized pot and make about 140 bucks. The sun run starts to sizzle out a bit, and I pick up pocket jacks about an hour later or so. Middle position raises to 25. I have about 1950 behind, and I've made some massive profit on the session. Button calls, and I want to bump this pot up with my pocket jacks, so I decide to go a bit bigger than I normally would, and I go $120 here. I'm a bit worried about the original opener, but he's played about 2 hands, I think, in the entire night. So if he raises me here, I think it's a pretty quick fold. Sure enough, he does raise to $300, button folds. Any other player at the table, I'm snap calling or even jamming, but against this player, I've literally seen him play maybe like 2 or 3 hands in 3 hours, so I don't want to risk it. I fold. I'm sure he has aces or kings every time, and we lose about 120 bucks there. All right, everyone, and that wraps up my 2-3 session here towards the end of April at the Lucky Lady. I would consider that a very good run. I made a few mistakes on the turns, like I discussed earlier, but I think I can learn a lot from this video, and also made quite a bit of profit on that session. So pretty happy with how April went. On to May now, and I appreciate you guys watching.